Why do you want to be a flight attendant? Hello, how are you? I'm Romulo Gutierrez. This is the flight deck briefing. I've been a recruiter and selector for 27 years, and this is one of the most frequently asked questions in flight attendant interviews at airlines all over the world. I conducted a survey with 100 recruiters from 60 airlines worldwide. The biggest airlines in the world responded to my survey, and I brought tips on what recruiters like to hear when they ask you, why do you want to be a flight attendant? There are 7 tips, so pay close attention to each one. The seventh and most important one is, I'll give you all 7 tips, and at the end, I'll provide a ready-made sample answer. Pay attention. The 7th tip is, when asked why you want to be a flight attendant, try to mention 3 strong skills you have that connect you to the profession. Above all, this is a question about self-awareness. Okay? So, if I were asked, a sample answer would be, for example, Romulo, why do you want to be a flight attendant? Without beating around the bush and straight to the point, I could say, I want to be a flight attendant because of 3 important aspects of my personality that connect me to this profession. And then I mention things that are true. They have to be true, and do you know why? Because airlines, Qatar, Emirates, American Airlines, any airline, conduct psychological tests. So there's no point in saying things that aren't really me. So I can say things that are true. I can say, look, there are 3 things that really connect me to the position of flight attendant. First, I'm very cheerful and outgoing with people. Second, I really enjoy serving others and seeing them happy. And third, I'm a person who pays a lot of attention to detail. If all of that is true, remember, this is a question about self-awareness. The recruiter will definitely like that. If it's not true, if it's just talk, just words, then it gets a bit complicated. Okay? What's the 6th kid? Come with me to the first one and I'll give you a ready-made answer template. 6th, try also using the technique of the 3 senses to craft your answer. Okay? So, when you're asked, why do you want to be a flight attendant? You can start by using the technique of the 3 senses. Look, there are 3 strong reasons why I want to be a flight attendant. First, then you say, second, then you answer, and third, and you answer again. Your answer should be about 2 to 3 minutes long. You should highlight behavioral traits, individual characteristics, but for this answer template, it's also a good idea to try to include aspects that connect you to the airline itself. So let me give you an example. Let's suppose the interview is for Emirates. And the question comes, Romulo, why do you want to be a flight attendant? Then I'll use the 3 senses technique. Look, there are 3 strong factors that connect me to the position of flight attendant. The first is that I believe aviation is extremely important for people's convenience and comfort. Aviation is synonymous with comfort. And because I believe in this principle, I want to be a flight attendant at Emirates because I know Emirates stands for this important value. Then you move on to the second point. The second point is that I understand one of the most important aspects of being a flight attendant is respecting culture, diversity, different people, and different types of human beings. And I know that Emirates is a cosmopolitan company in this way, and that's the second reason why I want to be a flight attendant. And a third aspect, I like and believe in safe aviation, in aviation where you can always count on the safety of both departure and arrival, and Emirates is a company that is completely transparent in this regard. Therefore, that's why I would like to be not just a flight attendant, but a flight attendant at Emirates. Notice that in this answer I explain why I want to be a flight attendant, but I connect it to the values of the airline I'm applying to. Let's move on to the 5th important tip, and the recruiters, those 100 recruiters who answered me, told me this. They said, look, Romulo, since you're going to record the video for the Flight Deck Briefing channel, tell them to avoid cliches. Common answers, answers that every candidate will give, answers that don't add any value. Like, oh, because I'm very persuasive, because I'm very organized, because I'm very cheerful, because I provide great service. Without any context or explanation, these are not good answers. Now I'm going to give you the 4th tip, and soon I'll share a ready-made answer template. Before I continue, if you want to practice for an interview, do a mock interview for any company in the world, just contact me on this WhatsApp right here, country code 5511, and the number that's shown. That same number is also in the video description, okay? And in the first comment, just click and message me. The prices are low for subscribers of the Flight Deck Briefing channel. There are new videos here every Wednesday at 1 in the afternoon. I need 2 things from you, your subscription and your like. The like button is right there. I need you to hit like. Let's go to the 4th tip. A key point is to always read the job description carefully. Even though the position is flight attendant or cabin crew, as it's called in some parts of the world, make sure to read the job description carefully, okay? The profession might be the same, but there are some differences in the job descriptions. And I always recommend that when you read, like, for example, as soon as EasyJet posts their job opening or Air France posts theirs, read the job listing carefully and try to highlight 1, 2, or even 3 words that you notice are the most important in the job description. All right? You've highlighted the first, the second, and the third word, just the word from the job listing. And when they ask why you want to be a flight attendant, try to connect yourself to those words. Try to associate yourself with those words. For example, I opened the EasyJet job listing from the British airline, and I saw that it says they believe in low-cost aviation and aviation that is inclusive for everyone. And from there, I can say, look, I want to be a flight attendant using the 3 senses technique for 3 reasons. First, because I believe in inclusive aviation, and the flight attendant is a key part of including people and ensuring safety throughout the flight. That's one of the reasons. See, that's in this job listing. So it's something very relevant for you to mention in your answer. And then you bring in the next 2 details. 3rd tip, which I'm going to call magic words. Recruiters have told me about some words they absolutely love. And then I saw that, practically, these words that I brought, they fit any company. Companies from the East, companies from the West, Asian companies, European companies, American companies, South American companies. Yeah, I found these words I'm about to tell you really interesting, and they can also be a good answer or a good way to start your answer when asked why you want to be a flight attendant. The words are, write these down: flight safety, customer experience, teamwork, and hierarchy, okay? I'll repeat. Flight safety, customer experience, teamwork, and hierarchy. So, when I'm asked why I want to be a flight attendant, I can use these 3 words in context explaining why. I would like to be a flight attendant for a few reasons. First, I believe in safe aviation, in flight safety. And I understand that the flight attendant is a fundamental part of ensuring the flight is safe. So that's one of the reasons. The second reason is that I believe when we're in the air, one of the most important things is exactly the experience the customer will have. The comfort, the smile, the friendliness. And that's how I intend to work as a flight attendant. And I value and care about the customer experience everywhere I've worked in my life. So that's the second reason why I want to be a flight attendant. And then you can also talk about teamwork or hierarchy and mention that as well. Second key tip. Remember this, keep your answer to a maximum of 1.5 to 3 minutes. And if you go over 3 minutes, you're already talking too much. The recruiters told me, those who answered the survey, and get ready because my videos are packed with research with recruiters to bring the aviation world to you. This is a new project and I need you to subscribe and like, but don't give overly long answers, 3, 4, 5 minutes. Flight attendant interviews around the world are short interviews. They last about 10 to 12 minutes, and the recruiter has a script with 7 or 8 questions to ask you. If you take 4 minutes to answer this question, you definitely won't be able to answer the others. So ideally, your answer should be about 1.5 minutes to at most 2 minutes long. And I told you I'd give you a sample answer at the end. I've already given a few examples throughout the video. If you liked it, leave your like. Here, I picked an example of what I would say if I were a candidate for American Airlines, but this technique works for any airline. I'm going to pick out the keywords, the key requirements of the job, and explain why I want to be a flight attendant. So, for example, the recruiter asks me, Romulo, tell me why you want to be a flight attendant at American Airlines? Then I can bring up the keywords I already picked out from the job posting. I read the job description. I checked out the company's Instagram. I paid attention, and I highlighted the following words that they mention a lot: safety, integrity, inclusion, and caring for people. And I can say, look, there are 4 very clear reasons why I want to be a flight attendant. First, I believe that flight safety is the foundation of everything. And in the courses and studies I've done, one of the things I dedicated myself to the most and enjoyed was exactly the area of flight safety. And I believe that as a flight attendant, I will provide a safe flight for passengers. A second reason is that I am a person of integrity and inclusivity. I value genuine relationships, and I believe that the fact that people have different cultures, races, and skin colors doesn't make any difference between one person and another. And I see that American Airlines stands for this as well, and I also want to be a flight attendant here for this reason. And a third reason I want to be a flight attendant. Ever since my very first professional experiences, when I worked as a receptionist at a language school, I always focused my work on caring for people. And I believe that by working as a flight attendant, I will ensure the experience and care of the customers. And that's why I want to be a flight attendant. See how the answer turned out complete? And I brought you a full tutorial with several questions that come up in flight attendant interviews. The tutorial is right here. Go check it out. Excellent preparation. Take care and see you next time. Bye-bye.